A city carved into rose-red cliffs once rivaled Rome in wealth and power. Then, in barely a generation, it simply vanished. What you're looking at here, this limestone facade right here, is Petra, and it's one of history's most haunting riddles. By the 1st century CE, this Nabatean trade hub controlled the spice routes between Arabia and the Mediterranean. Merchants brought frankincense, myrrh, and Arabian goods through these carved corridors. The city thrived for nearly 400 years, then something happened. By the 14th century, Petra was empty, completely. The desert had reclaimed it. We don't have a smoking gun here, no final siege, no plague inscription left behind. Instead, Petra's decline was a slow strangulation. The first real blow came in 106 CE, when Rome annexed the Nabatean kingdom. Rome didn't destroy Petra, they redirected it. Trade routes shifted. Roman ports on the Red Sea began siphoning off the merchant caravans that once had no choice but to pass through these gorges. But here's the thing, cities don't die because of commerce alone. Look at this artifact log, earthquakes. Specifically, a massive seismic event in 363 CE that damaged the infrastructure Petra depended on. The aqueducts that brought water down from the highlands fractured. In the desert, water isn't a luxury, it's existence. Without reliable supply, you can't sustain a population of 30,000 people. The economic strangulation continued. By the 7th century, Arab conquests reshaped the entire region's political landscape. Petra, no longer a neutral crossroads, found itself on the periphery of new power structures. The Nabatean identity itself had dissolved into history. What remained was a hollowed-out monument to a vanished prosperity, beautiful but useless. The Crusades brought intermittent military interest. A fortress was built here in the 12th century. You can still see the foundations, but it was a death rattle. By then, the oral memory of Petra's true significance had evaporated. Local Bedouin communities knew the canyons, used them for shelter, but the city's grandeur meant nothing to them. It was just stone. Here's the irony locked in this exhibit case. Petra was rediscovered by the Western world in 1812, when Swiss explorer Johann Ludwig Burckhardt stumbled upon it. 1800 years of oblivion. The city had become so thoroughly lost that local guides didn't even know its true age. They had myths, not history. Burckhardt had to pose as a Muslim pilgrim just to access the site. So let's rank the actual causes of Petra's abandonment. We're counting down to the single most decisive factor. These aren't neat categories, they are interlocking dominoes, but some pushed harder than others. Starting at number 5, political marginalization. When Rome absorbed the Nabatean kingdom, Petra lost its sovereignty and its strategic necessity. Number 4, the Crusader interlude. Military occupation in the 12th century CE actually accelerated the city's irrelevance. The fortress built here wasn't a revival, it was a symptom of a city already hollow. Crusaders came and went. Petra remained empty. The attempt to repurpose it for warfare only confirmed it had nothing left to offer. Number 3, the Arab conquests of the 7th century. This is where Petra's cultural identity, the Nabatean framework that held everything together, finally dissolved. New trade networks, new powers, new religions. Petra wasn't hostile territory, it was irrelevant territory. The caravans didn't need to come here anymore. The reason to stay evaporated. Number 2, the shift in maritime trade. This is the slow killer. By the 2nd and 3rd century CE, Roman and later Arab merchants increasingly used sea routes instead of desert caravans. The Red Sea ports became more efficient, less dangerous, less dependent on passing through hostile or negotiable territory. Petra's entire reason for existence, controlling the land routes, became obsolete. And number 1, the cause that ties everything together and made abandonment inevitable. The earthquake of 363 CE and the collapse of the water infrastructure. You can engineer your way around political change. You can adapt to shifting trade routes, but you cannot survive in the desert without water. The aqueducts that supplied Petra were engineering marvels. When they fractured, they couldn't be easily repaired. See this fragment here? It's limestone with mortar residue, part of the hydraulic system. The 363 earthquake didn't just crack it, it fundamentally altered the water table in the region. Engineers could have rebuilt, theoretically, but by then the economic foundation had already crumbled. There was no wealth to fund reconstruction, no merchant class to demand it, no political power to command it. The abandonment wasn't sudden, it was a century-long fade. Population declined gradually as water became scarcer, as trade routes shifted, as the political landscape rewrote itself. By 500 C, Petra was a ghost town. By 1000 C, it was myth. By 1812, when Burckhardt found it, it was pure archaeology, a monument to a civilization that had left no written record of its own ending. What makes Petra's story so unsettling is its ordinariness. There's no tragedy, no climax. Just infrastructure failure, economic reorientation, and the slow realization that a city built on one purpose has no purpose anymore. The rose-red stone didn't crumble. The city did. It chose to leave one family at a time until there was no one left to remember why they'd come. Today, Petra stands as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, restored, touristed, celebrated. But the real lesson isn't in the monuments, it's in the silence. A city of 30,000 people left so completely that the world forgot it existed. That kind of erasure doesn't happen because of invasion or plague. It happens because the reasons to stay disappeared. The desert keeps secrets, but it also keeps archives. Every crack in the aqueduct, every empty storehouse, every carved chamber tells part of the story. Petra didn't disappear because it was conquered. It disappeared because the world moved on and it had no way to follow. Subscribe for more forgotten histories. Every week, we unearth the mysteries that archaeology and time tried to bury.